Twisted Metal Lore Part 3. Now, the reason we don't have the character up right now is because I gotta give you guys a warning. He's pretty gruesome. And his only appearance was in Twisted Metal Black, so this one will be a little easier, but I have some theory crafting I want to talk about. The character we're talking about is Frank, aka No Face, driver of Crazy 8. Once again, rated M. You ready? Now, I'm giving a lot of warning because this character's story scarred me as a kid. Like, this scared me. So first I'll give you his basic story beats in the game. Frank was a boxer, nothing in the big leagues, just, a boxer. But he was one of the best. We find him in Blackfield Asylum looking like that. The short version of what happened is, again, gruesome. He was in a fight and he got himself beaten pretty bad. His face was just a mess. Not like this yet, but we'll get there. Now, a friend of his recommended a surgeon, a facial surgeon, someone who's apparently real good at his job. But the surgeon, he kind of lost like $20,000 on the fight, so he was a little upset. While he was under anesthesia, he did this to him. Took his eyes, took his tongue, all that. That is the sequence that scarred me as a kid. I still can't watch horror movies or play horror games if eyeballs come out. So end of the story is pretty basic. He wins Twisted Metal, Calypso brings him the surgeon, and he punches him in the face with a glove that's covered in his surgical equipment. Now here's where we get to the interesting stuff. How does this guy drive when he's got no eyeballs? He describes the fear in the surgeon's eyes when they find him. I'm going to present an idea to you. This guy doesn't look like this. This is the result of body dysmorphia. He got his face beaten real bad, probably got some brain damage. The surgeon did the best he could, but this brain damage kind of threw him into, kind of insanity. The trauma could possibly have awakened a mental illness he already had, schizophrenia, something like that. How many of you are familiar with prosopagnosia, also called face blindness? It comes as a result of damage to the fusiform face area, which is on the bottom of your brain. Now in boxing, they call this the button. It's one of the least protected parts of your brain and an easy way to knock someone out. He probably got hit there quite a few times. So the fusiform face area was damaged, and this is how he saw his face. That combined with delusions, he believed that his eyes and tongue were taken. Also consider the fact that he tells most of the stories in his own voice. Now that can be brushed off. You can say, oh, well, it's in his head. But how would he communicate what he sees and feels to other people? There's a bit of lore somewhere in the game where somebody asks him, how do you see without your eyes? He says something like, I see what I've always seen, darkness. But what if this person speaking to him wasn't just some guy? What if it was his doctor trying to snap him out of his delusional state? Say, hey, you can see, you navigate just fine, you're driving a freaking car. Well, he wasn't at the time, but you get what I'm saying. Now, what does he represent? Because a lot of these things are representative of what goes on in Sweet Tooth's head. As we know, the game takes place inside of Needles Cain's head. I think he represents Needles Cain losing his identity. Is he the clown? Is he Marcus Cain? We already know Minion is also Marcus Cain, they're the same guy, and he's struggling between these two identities. This probably represents the loss of his identity. I don't know, I used to be in the psych field, this stuff interests me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Ve Victus, save awesome. I still have nightmares about you.